the change makers in our world. So again, welcome to Roots Connections for today, April 9th, 2025. You know, this is our number one program for navigating a world where change is the only constant. So again, we feature the change makers, those who are making positive impacts in their community, those who are helping to move Dominica and the Caribbean region forward. Because as we continue to witness, the world around us is quickly changing. And here on Roots Connections, we are committed to looking at the changes we should be concerned about, the changes we should be taking advantage of, and of course, the changes we need to make in order to move our Caribbean region and our people in the Caribbean and overseas forward. This evening is no different. We're very happy to be joined by three change makers who will represent the St. Andrews High School in Dominica. We are very happy to be joined by Mr. Wilworth Robin, Miss Audrey George, and Miss Catherine Irish. And today we are looking at St. Andrews High School Grand Reunion 2025. They're hosting a banquet, an award ceremony, and the overall theme of our program this evening is exploring opportunities to celebrate and to invest in Dominica. And I'm so happy for this conversation this evening because I know a lot of us are stressed with everything that is going on in the world, from tariffs to trade wars to instability in so many areas of the world, and the challenges that we continue to face today. So I'm happy to be talking about a celebration, an award ceremony, as something uplifting, something to uplift your spirit. So wherever you're joining us from, we hope that you're in a comfortable place where you will be able to listen, whether it's the end of the day for you and you're at home relaxing, or you're commuting to or from work, or you're at work. Whatever you're doing, I hope you will have an opportunity to just listen in to the program. So again, welcome to Roots Connection. This is episode number 89 for today, April 9th, 2025. And I am your host, Simone Matthew. So let's go ahead and give a warm welcome to our panel, to our guests. Everyone is smiles and looking bright and creamy, like we would say in Dominica. Everybody's looking well, so I'm happy to have them on board with us this evening so we can talk about this wonderful celebration as we celebrate St. Andrews High School. So let's unmute our mics and just greet the audience by telling us who you are, where you're joining us from, and of course, your connection, your roots, your connections to Dominica. So I want to get started with Audrey George because Audrey was the one who reached out to me. And we know Audrey, she's no stranger to our programs here on Roots Connection. She's been with me several times, as in the past we've talked about the work of the Dominica Orlando movement. And come to find out, Audrey has moved. So Audrey, welcome to the program. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're joining us from, your profession, and your connections to Dominica.
Good evening, everyone. As Simone introduced, my name is Audrey George, and I'm currently I actually relocated from Florida. The last time I spoke to Simone, I lived in Florida, studied, and we had a lot of conversation as the president of the Dominica Orlando movement. And Simone, thank you so much for showcasing that for us. That was very influential to help us grow. However, as of now, I did retire from my last job, what I worked at for 20 years in the banking field. I've been in banking field for almost 30 years now. So I did retire from my company in Florida and decided I need some little bit of island life, and got a new job in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. So right now I'm located in Virgin Islands in St. Thomas. I'm absolutely loving it. It's less stressful, and then also gives me the opportunity to enjoy island life and enjoy part of the US also, because it's right there in between. So I will say I have the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Profession, As I mentioned earlier, I've been in the banking field in several different, I've held as, oh, worn on several different hats, almost 30 years now, and have grown a lot. All the banking questions I think for now you could ask me, except why the stock market is dropping so much. We all suffering on that part, but we all know the answer to that. Um, and that's been my profession for a long time. And one of the and why I'm here today is to indulge and also inform you, everyone, on the great things that we have been doing with for the St. Andrews High School Grand Reunion that's upcoming. So I am the leader for the banquet and awards, so that I will be discussing today with you, and hopefully we can put a little more light on this great event we have planned with Simone. And as I said, thank you so much, Simone, for giving us that platform to give more information to everyone out there. That's what's coming up soon. And the reason why I'm here is because this is also part of growth and also part of growing even for, especially for the diasporas, we can give back something to Dominica. And we have so much planned, things that are planned right now, which I know is definitely going to benefit our people back home. A lot of it is going to be in our communities, which ranges from the Kalinago territory all the way down to Kalibishi. And just mentioning my beautiful village, Kalibishi. I'm originally from Kalibishi, grew up in Kalibishi. So big up to all the Kalibishians that's listening tonight, and hope we have a lot of much information for you. So just hearing from Kalibishi. So we are going to touch a lot of different areas, but our main focus is really from the Kalinago to the Kalibishi area. That's the students that attended St. Andrews High School, and maybe we might have had somebody from from Benz, but that was unusual. They normally go to PSS. So that's where we're going to be touching more. We want to give back to the community as possible, and then as further discussion takes place, hopefully we'll be able. We don't want it just to be the reunion and then go to sleep. We are hoping that is something that's ongoing, where we could bring more to enhance our youth in our communities as much and help them grow, mentoring, either whatever path we can take. So I'm hoping this is just the start of a great thing in the future. And I don't know how many minutes I've been speaking, but I think I'm going to stay here for now.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Audrey. And I'm so jealous you've moved back to the Caribbean. You've left us here in this sweaty. But that's okay. Always great to have you on board, Audrey. So, Catherine, let's go over to you for your introduction.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Simone, my colleagues, and to the people working in the background of Q95 and our listening audiences. I am Catherine Irish, as Simone said. I am a proud Dominican. I hail from the village of Marigot, and I am here in the capacity as team leader for the PR committee for the St. Andrews High School Grand Reunion 2025. And I am very excited because I believe that what we have started with the Grand Reunion is something foundational, and I think that it has the potential to take flight in several different areas, as Audrey has mentioned. And so this evening, we want to just be able to discuss in detail what we have planned for the reunion and the different activities that will be taking place. And we just want to appeal to our listening audiences to participate, contribute in whatever form or fashion they can, and just make the event a spectacular one that we have envisioned, and just help us to be able to pull that off.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you, Catherine. And we'll go over now to Wilbur. He'll tell us his role in the reunion committee, as well as all the other details we talked about earlier.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening again, Dr. Simone, and to your listening audience. It's good to be here tonight. Always take the opportunity to connect with the people and to share all the good stuff that we have planned for Dominica. I migrated from Dominica in 1995, came up to the US to study civil engineering. So that's my profession. I'm a registered professional engineer in the state of Maryland. Senior project manager, structural engineering, also geotechnical engineering. And so I'm originally from Wesley, but I've been staying connected with Dominica, and over the years, obviously things have gotten much easier. I was looking back at some of the letters, actual written letters from my father in particular. I know we don't have those things nowadays, but over the years, I've seen how things change from going from writing letters to email and so on. And so right now we are very connected with Dominica. And although I've been out here almost 30 years, I never really stay out of touch. In fact, I have done several things in terms of giving back to the community. And we have done, prior to organizing this, we had a past student association where we give back quite a bit of stuff. We can talk about that later. But so the connection, I see your program, Roots Connection. Yeah, I've been sticking to that. But tonight is about the grand reunion, and I'm speaking here in the capacity of the executive chair. So I'm just leading the entire organization here to get this thing going and get it executed in the best we can. And so the reunion, St. Andrews, for the people, at least for most of the people, there may be a less than a handful. I might say I didn't like, but for most people that went to St. Andrews, we had that special connection. We're at school, we think it was the best school in Dominica. I don't care what everybody else say, but so to us, St. Andrews was the best school. And so we plan to, many people have said in the past, let's do a reunion. And some people approached me before and I said, man, I'm just too busy. And I said, you know what? I think now is a good time. So we started over a year ago, start planning for this. And as Audrey said, it's an opportunity not only just to give back, but when you meet together, when you come together, there's nothing so special. Those are the memories that you create, that those are like some special demarcation in time. You mark those special occasions. You remember, everybody gonna remember. You remember that reunion here, 2025. Those are the kind of memories you want to create, because when you meet up friends, I mean, I left St. Andrews over 30 years ago. I can't imagine that. When I was in high school and I look at a 30-year-old man, it was like an old guy. But so it has been a while, but we are still feeling that energy to go back there and have a lot of fun. And while we do that, also giving back to the community and meeting people we haven't met in a long, long time. Can you imagine? I have not met any of my most of my classmates, maybe 99% of them, since I left high school. Mm-hmm. So it's an opportunity to come back and to give, to meet together, to make good memories. And I don't think anyone wants to miss that opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wilworth. And I'm kind of outnumbered tonight, so I'm going to say yes. St. Andrews High School is the best high school. Not my high school, the convent high school. since I'm outnumbered this evening. But again, guys, thank you so much for being here for this program. Before we get started, of course, we always pray for Dominica and all the challenges that we're facing. And as a matter of fact, we just have to pray for the world in general, because we know that the world in general, there's just so much instability and so much going in. At Facebook, I see that you guys are coming in. Remember, if you want to be acknowledged for being here, post a message. Just say hi. I see Amma is here. Hey, Amma, nice to see you. Anna Thomas, Steve Samuel. So guys, again, don't forget, if you want to be acknowledged for being here, simply post a comment and just say good evening or say where you're joining us from. So again, welcome to the program. Lambi, great to have you on board as always. Mr. G showing the rest of the Q95 family. Thank you for being here. Again, if you're listening to us on the radio and you would like to see our lovely guests, you can simply check us out on Facebook or YouTube at Q95 FM Radio. So that is Q95 FM Radio on Facebook or YouTube, or Push Past 10 on Facebook as well. So again, thank you everyone for being here. So let us start getting into the conversation. So I'm guessing we will begin with you, Wilworth. And just to remind the audience, because we do have some folks who are joining us who are not from Dominica. So when you begin talking about the St. Andrews High School, please let us know where in Dominica it is located. So kind of just let's begin by looking a little bit at the history of St. Andrews High School and the significance of St. Andrews High School to Dominica. So I'm assuming, Wilworth, you're going to take that portion of the program, or who's going to take that portion?
Yeah. I will start off, but we experience it in all different ways.
Yeah, so everybody can feel free to chime in.
Yeah. So St. Andrews, St. Andrews is actually, the school started in 1979, right after Hurricane David. Right. So prior to that, all right. Am I being heard? Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
You're clear.
Okay. Yeah. So prior to that, students or from Wesley typically would attend school in Roseau, and very few in Portsmouth. I think Portsmouth came in later, but in typically grammar school, convent, and Wesley High School. After the hurricane and destroyed a lot of homes and things, it became necessary to get some other areas. So it was an opportune time. So there was a youth camp that used to be at the location in Londonderry. So St. Andrews is located right after the Londonderry River, the bridge going towards Wesley. And once you cross the bridge, there's a road, a secondary road going up on your left side. So you won't see it from the roadside, but it went up and down. So there was an old youth camp building. There was a big auditorium. There was several buildings for once St. Andrews took over under the Methodist Church, right? The school was actually initiated under the stewardship of the Methodist Church in at that time. And so once it started, some of those buildings from the youth camp was used to host the classrooms, the principal residence, and also some residence for staff members. And there was a new classroom that was constructed, also a new lab. In fact, the number one high school lab in Dominica at the time had a chemistry, physics, and biology lab. Were very well equipped. And there was also animal husbandry going on at that location. So it was a very large campus it was basically a campus for compared to other schools in Dominica. It was a very big building. So at that time, after the hurricane, it was an opportune time for students that were as I said, a lot of homes destroyed in Roseau, and that's when they started the school. And a lot of students that started school in Roseau, most of them finished school in St. Andrews, and there it started with a small amount of teachers. And I remember one particular teacher was telling me that he was basically rounding up teachers from and other graduates from around the location. So it was, I know that's the other good thing. It was mainly teachers within the areas that or the communities that where the students came from.
Mm-hmm.
And so St. Andrews from 1979 to 2006, that is when the school existed. The school is closed right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was closed due to the construction of that proposed international airport under the UWP. So they purchased some of the land around that location. So the school was right within the footprint. So they had to be relocated. And now under the Northeast Comprehensive, which moved away from the Methodist Church and is on now a government school. So the experience in St. Andrews was quite unique. I say it was relatively isolated from the rest of the community, but still at the same time close enough. Audrey will tell you how she used to get from Kalibishi on Zayo truck and maybe have to walk down and hitch and ride going back to Kalibishi. And a lot of students do that, but we were like a community within that area, and we developed that bond, and that's why even after so many years, some of us still have that desire to meet again and have that reunion.
Yeah,
so
so
I know Audrey and Catherine can tell you about the experience, but we have a lot that we could say, but I don't want to take up too much time saying all about it.
Definitely. Well, you were good with the first batting, like in cricket, so you did a good job. So let's go over to Audrey and Catherine, so you can share your experiences as well. Because some of the information I read in your notes, and Catherine, thank you so much for the wonderful program outline. You said normally I'm the one doing the program outline, but I can tell you guys are very organized because you sent me all the information I needed. And one of the things that kind of struck me, well, several things struck me, but the conducive environment for learning, that kind of stuck out with me. So let us talk about your experience. What was it like to attend St. Andrews High School? Because as Will mentioned before, and the students pretty much had to go to Roseau before, and how elated you guys were to finally be able to go to school in your neighborhood, and just talk about the communities, the basin of the communities that the school served, your experiences, the different programs like the mechanic program that you had, how you were able to host local and regional organizations. So tell us more about the school.
Well, for me, I attended from the year 1988 to 1993. And my experience there was, I would say, a very good one. I think the experiences I had with my teachers on a whole, all teachers were genuinely interested in you learning their material, and they express interest in you getting whatever it is that they taught. We were discipline was a big thing. Oh, sorry, my mic got muted. Were you hearing me all along?
No, we were hearing you.
Okay. Yes, I was saying discipline was a big thing. We had to ensure that we were properly groomed, that we wore our uniform in the proper way, even when we were not on the school compound.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that instilled pride and just good decorum of an individual, how to carry yourself. So whether you are not in school, you should still carry yourself in a proper way. And so I think those things, so it wasn't just about education. It was about the whole person. I did not go to primary school in Dominica, and so being integrated into because people go to high school and so they will come with some of their friends. I basically started with no friends, and I quickly made friends with others, and I quickly found myself being integrated in school life, um, to the point where I I was head girl for when I was in fifth form. And one of the things that I would really like to point out, because Wrigley talked about all of the amenities that the school had, and he left out one thing. St. Andrews was the leading school when computers came on the scene in Dominica. We had a computer lab. And it so happened that when that came on board, I had already graduated. It came on board the year I graduated. So I didn't get to do computer classes. But incidentally, I my first paying job was at my alma mater, St. Andrews High School. And it was whilst being a teacher there, I capitalized on getting some computer knowledge through that same computer lab. And one other thing that I would like to point out, as I was speaking about how St. Andrews was helped to shape the whole person. I remember at assembly, we would always be given the word for the day. So that helped to develop, for me, up to this day, it helped me with my vocabulary. Some of the words that I know now was just because we had the word of the day. And so that's something that I have carried on in my life. And so I have to say again, St. Andrews High School was the best high school in Dominica in its day.
Yeah, I get that sense. Archie, what would you like to add?
Let me get up. Well, a lot to add since I actually was one of the person in the first era, and do not guess my age. So I actually started St. Andrews in 1980, which was the second year of the opening of St. Andrews. Wanted to highlight that our now Her Excellency Ms. Burton, President of Dominica, is actually a past student of the St. Andrews High School. She was one of the first students started St. Andrews in '79. So those people are definitely want to recognize that started the first year of St. Andrews. My experience may be a little bit different from Catherine or Wilworth because we're in different eras. I'm in the first era of St. Andrews. So there are a lot of things that happened to us in St. Andrews that they maybe never experienced really. But and I know Wrigley talk about Zayo truck traveling from St. Andrews to Calibishi. And also we sometimes had to walk when they did not come to pick us up from St. Andrews to Calibishi. And when we get home, we have to do homework, starting homework 8 o'clock in the night or 7 o'clock in the night. That's the time we sometimes get to Calibishi. So we had several different experiences. One thing I would say is, for me personally, I remember getting accepted and to go to Convent High School. And I was so happy. And then my parents changed and said, I'm going to have to go to St. Andrews High School. And I cried my eyes out because I really wanted to go to Convent High School. It was like the most prestigious school in Dominica at the time. So I wasn't so happy about that. However, I am so happy that they made that change because St. Andrews was the best school in Dominica. Mm-hmm. And it was the best school. I'm not saying that because I went there. I'm saying this because we were able to enjoy things that going to school in Roseau, we would not have enjoyed, because we had the life of being in the country. So we had all that experience apart from just learning. I mean, going to school, learning, but we had that experience to learn other things for those that was not academically inclined. There were so many other programs. We had vocational school for those that were not able to go to the actual academic side of it. They will be able to go to vocational school, and now entrepreneurs became, sole proprietors. So it worked for everyone. So St. Andrews created a forum that everyone can get something to do. So that's why I think going to school in Roseau, I don't think they would have that opportunity as much. One of the reasons why I know Wrigley mentioned the hurricane and everything, and they started St. Andrews High School, but I do think one of the stressful part for parents at the time, for the children that was living from the countryside had to go to school in Roseau. It was financially, it was a hardship for them. And a lot of the experiences that the children had living by persons in Roseau was not always 100%. And as we know, if I don't know, most of us here may be parents, it's better having your children come home after school.
Absolutely.
Because you do not know what happens to them for that 5 days that they're in Roseau. And I know one of the things my dad had said to me, why he not going to have me go to convent. He will be tired sending food for people in Roseau to eat. Because that's why he said you have to send how much boxes of food for people to eat. So it was different experiences that they had when you live in the country, when you're from the country and you have to stay Roseau, your children in Roseau or Portsmouth. It was a different experience for the parents. So I think St. Andrews created that area. They created that for us, for the parents, for the entire community, to be able to feel more safe for their children and to be able to see their children come home. And for those of us that was in the first era of St. Andrews, oh my gosh, we had some experiences. We had stories to give. I'm not going to give them on this live, but I know for those that are listening, you remember the stories, right? You remember the Mr. Bronx and you remember Mr. Manda. So we had our experiences with several students, but that's what made us stronger. And I think that's why I think St. Andrews students are very, that people that past students, we are strong. And St. Andrews has created a flow of some of the most prestigious in every single field you could think of. I mean, we have created doctors, we have created scientists. I mean, we have an engineer on board. This is just that a few of different professional St. Andrews students has gone into, every single avenue, every single career path. So I have to say, I'm just proud to be a St. Andrews student.
Yeah, you guys speak so very well about your alma mater. So I get the sense of what the experience must have been like. But I'm very happy that you mentioned the vocational aspect, because we know that is something that is lacking even now in Dominica. We need more vocational programs. We need to reconceptualize what is education, because in 2025, the focus is too much on academia. And for those who are not academically inclined, unfortunately, we're seeing them falling by the wayside. Even growing up in Roseau, I remember the what it is, JSP. There was a program in the Goodwill High School, which was kind of technical skills. And we have people who've become very, very wealthy from being mechanics, from being able to use their hands to work in construction. And yet we do not see enough of an emphasis on vocational training for our students in Dominica. So I'm very happy that you're mentioning this and looking at the other amenities that was provided at St. Andrews High School. And I want to get the sense also of how you felt when you heard that the school was about to close in 2006, because knowing what you experienced there, knowing the caliber of professionals that were created from St. Andrews High School, I can can only imagine sitting here and hearing that Convent High School is about to close. I would be devastated because it's almost like taking your memories away, but also taking away the investment in future generations to be able to receive what you received at St. Andrews High School. So I want us to also talk about that in a little bit. But when I look at the amenities, the library, staff room, science laboratories, canteen outfitted for food and nutrition learning, auditorium, typing room, living quarters for teachers and principal, and the first computer lab at the secondary school in Dominica. I mean, that sounds like a village in and of itself. So kind of tell us about all these amenities. And I'm especially interested in the learning opportunities for teaching nutrition, because there again, we see that lacking in the educational system in Dominica, because you get the sense, and you guys can let me know how you feel as well. You get the sense that education in Dominica is all about preparation for the exams. Back when we went to school, it was CXC. Now I think there are different names for it, but you get the sense that it is preparation to sit this exam, and it's not about, like Catherine mentioned, creating the whole person. So what are your views on what we're seeing now and what you guys had the opportunity to experience when you attended St. Andrews High School?
Yeah, so as you were, listing off the amenities, I something just happening within me, because it's something to actually witness it, and then it's something else to hear about it. And I mean, as you said, it was like a village by itself, making
Yeah.
out all of those amenities. And in addition to all of the things that we have said so far, I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen some of the pictures on my
Yes.
background. I
Yes.
mean, in addition to the amenities, um, the campus itself, there was greenery, and we had the flamboyant trees, as you can see there in the photo. And in addition to the vocational and the academics, we had agriculture. You know, in the countryside, the Northeast, we are agricultural based. Dominica generally is agricultural based. And so we had a very good agricultural program. And we were not just in the classroom. We actually used to go out and we were taught the different agricultural techniques. So it was a comprehensive, the learning was comprehensive. And in regards to the food and nutrition, yes, we had a canteen that accommodated that. So in addition to being in the classroom doing the food and nutrition subject, we were brought into the canteen to actually do things, how to prepare foods, the different ways to prepare foods, and things like that. So it was a holistic approach to learning. And you mentioned about the JSP program, and that was where St. Andrews, I think, differentiated from the other high schools, because we took in those students who did the JSP program and they passed it. They entered St. Andrews High School at third form level, and so they were able to graduate with the other students who were on the academia stream, so, and everybody was treated as equal. The academic students were not thought of as better than the vocational students. Everybody operated on the same playing field and were given the very same opportunities and the very same push to excel. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to come to you, Wilworth, but I think we're hitting on so many important points right now because, in my mind, that is what the model of education in Dominica should look like. We should take the St. Andrews model and replicate it in all the schools in Dominica, because when you talk about the need for education in agriculture, yet another area that we find majorly lacking in Dominica. There might be a couple of schools with attached programs to agriculture, but we do not see it integrated into the school system. So I think I am hoping that the powers that be are taking note of these programs to see what already existed in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, well, the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, and to duplicate it in the other schools because the model exists. The model for excellence existed. And even in my own experience at convent, there was this division between those who were smart, that was going to go into science, and the other students were going to go into business. And that is just preposterous because we know that there's so many successful business people in the world. As a matter of fact, business runs the world, right? So I think we have to go beyond those boxes that we have placed around education in Dominica and open up the education space in Dominica to incorporate technical skills, to incorporate academia and all the other interests that our young people have that will give them an opportunity to thrive. So, Wilworth, your thoughts?
Well, I know Catherine mentioned it, and I would say I'm a proud GSP. I went through St. Andrews through GSP program.
Mm-hmm.
I started in third form, so I spent 3 years in St. Andrews, and yeah. So I was the little boy in primary school that hated school, that was crying and giving my parents a lot of problem to go to school, start reading very late in life relative to some people. And I entered St. Andrews, and that was it. I excelled. By the time I graduated, I was the number one student in my class.
Wow.
So that I had a really strong zeal to learn, and I worked hard. I studied a lot, and yep, and that was so yeah. But in terms of the different amenities at St. Andrews, I mean, as Catherine said, it was a holistic approach to learning. We were exposed not just to learning just the environment. We had the Londonderry field was right there. The river was just there, and there were guavas and all the other things, mangoes and everything. So we had all that kind of experience in one. I mean, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. I was quite disappointed, and you talked about the St. Andrews campus. We understand when they were going to close the school, that all right, development is coming and they had to relocate, and we accepted that. But the other thing that a lot of us had a problem with, I sure not me alone, when they changed the name of the school from St. Andrews to the Northeast Comprehensive, and that maybe created a disconnect. And it also went from under the Methodist Church to a full government school, and there was some issue. So it was like there was not much of a continuity. That's how a lot of us feel in that respect in terms of closing the school. But I think the area, since the proposed airport construction had relocated, I thought that they were going to redevelop that existing campus, because it's a very, very beautiful location, well graded out, just lovely. I mean, I can't remember how many acres. I think it could have been over 30 acres of land. It was a pretty big campus. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot to do and to learn at the school. I also had the opportunity to be a a teacher at St. Andrews. I taught there for 4 years after I graduated from sixth form college.
Yeah, and again, just thinking beyond the traditional education model, because when I read that you guys were a campsite for local and regional organizations so that you can bring in people who are not, because many times when we go to school, we're kind of insulated, right? So we spend the 5 years with the same bunch of students, with the same teachers, just kind of rotating from one form to the next form. But when you have the exposure to people coming in from other organizations, it kind of gives you a different perspective on life. But I want to spend just a couple of minutes with you, Wilworth, because I think you could be the poster person we need to represent for the need for vocational training. Because when I hear you speak about how you were not interested in school at all, but then once you found that fit, once you found your interests, which did not necessarily include too much of a leaning into academia, but maybe you are more technically inclined. So once you are able to be provided with that fit at a school, you excelled and were the top of the class. I mean, I cannot think of a more important example in terms of convincing the powers that be. And now look at you as an engineer, right? So it speaks to the need for finding the fit for our students, for personalizing education. So kind of just tell us a little bit more about that, because I think that that is such an important point, and we really need to make it a salient point on this program to, again, because I think we keep talking about the need for vocational training, and we keep talking about the need for a JSP like program in Dominica. But when we are sitting face to face with somebody who excelled in that program, it really gives us the perspective that we need to understand the importance of this program. So just kind of tell us, spend a couple of minutes telling us more about how you went from being disinterested in school to excelling and topping your class.
Well, I always tell people, young people, including my children, try to excel in at least one thing. But if you can do both, it's even better yet.
Right.
If you are not going into academia, try to learn a skill and be good at it. If you can do both, it's even better yet. I think everybody, if you don't want to do, and there are a lot of opportunities in both areas,
Right.
education and also learning a skill. I mean, the basement, I'm sitting there in here, the lights and all the walls and all that. I did that myself. I love academics, but also I still love to work with my hand. And I think that is something that we should all try our best to do. In fact, I just met one of my past students who's also St. Andrews graduate. He is a project manager leading in a big company here in Maryland. And he also showed me a van that he has out there with all his mechanical equipment. So, and the daytime, he's this big time project manager in a big company. And when he comes home, he works on cars and he makes money doing that. So there are a lot of opportunities out there, and that people can get into, both male, female can get into, and we need to expose people to that and also mentor them and try to get that from the get-go.
Right.
Even in agriculture, there are a lot of different things that we can do, not just from the actual planting and doing, but there are also support skills that are needed for those farms, equipment and other things. So there are so many things that can be done. And my GSP experience, one of the things I learned was the electrical stuff. That's where it started. in a JSP program, and we also did woodwork, and but we also doing the academic part of things. So it was a pretty good program, and when you get that STEAM, that interest, even food and nutrition, I started learning food and nutrition for the GSP program. I hated vegetables. And from the time I learned about the importance of food and what it can do, from that time I changed how I can eat. So that's the power of education, and when you can give people opportunity to learn. There are so many things that we can do, but we need to have the facilities, we need to have the people to help train those individuals, and personally, whoever the person have to have that motivation. I was quite motivated. Even after I graduated from high school and sixth form, I went on and do some subjects on my own. That was so people, there are a lot of things that we can do, and we have to expose. And after I came here to the US, I noticed there are so many more opportunities, so many other areas that people can go into. So we need to provide those things, and it's a very, very important thing to do. So always education and learning skill. If you can do both, I will encourage everybody to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and that is the point. That is the point we're making this evening. That in Dominica, we need our students to have access to that sort of training, so that we are not looking down on those who are choosing the vocational path, choosing the path to learn a skill. We have to provide the training opportunities, so that in the same way that you found that fit through the JSP program, we are now creating that fit for those students in Dominica who are not academically inclined. So I'm really happy that we got to explore this further, because like I mentioned, we always talk about the importance of the JSP program, but we've never had a guest who can actually tell us what it was like. And also Annette Thomas is reminding you guys, Audrey and Catherine chime in here to talk about the sports field, that you guys had a sports field.
Yes, we
Yes,
did.
we did.
We did have a sports field, one of the biggest one. Like when you're driving by, between coming from either Marigot side,
Londonderry, everybody knows Londonderry
the
Field.
Londonderry
Yeah.
field, and I had my share of that because I was in track and field. So I had my share of utilizing that field. It was one of the biggest field, and oh my God, we really actually use it so much. We had our different houses, different colors, and I would say every student look forward to sports day or look forward to the time for practicing. We look forward to that because we had the space, and it was a grand event. I mean, it wasn't just the students that was involved. We had parents coming from every single village coming over to cheer on us during sports day. We had all the different dishes that we enjoy, and I know we spoke about the different type of culinary that we did. And I remember when at St. Andrews, we had Miss Cami and Josette, which was the person that we knew, and there was one Miss Sloan, three ladies, I think, that sold food, that worked in the cafeteria, and there were certain things that I actually enjoyed because they had the food taste so good. So on the weekends, I will go home and try to practice what I ate in St. Andrews so it can come out tasting like this. And I practiced for some time until I got the gist of what I need to do. And that was part of the training. So apart from what I got from my mom, which was a really good cook too, I practiced what I learned from the ladies that worked in the cafeteria. So that was part of my culinary artistic that I learned at that time. So it all kind of blend together. It was a community it was a village, learning from the entire village, I would say. So yes.
Yeah, Catherine.
Yeah, so I too was a track athlete, and so I did utilize the field. As Audrey said, Sports Day was a mecca event for St. Andrews High School. Other schools did use and other organizations did use the field. And in addition to using it for Sports Day, we used it for our independence celebration. That's where we used to have our match pass right there for our independence celebration. So, as we earlier said, it was a whole village and community by itself. And as you said, we the powers that be should really look at the St.
Yes.
Andrews
Yes.
model, and something that in everything about St. Andrews, one thing that really keeps popping up in my mind when I think about St. Andrews is that compared to the other high schools, it was a young school. And look at just what the richness of what was offered at that school compared to the other high schools. I know the other high schools, they have things that they can boast about. But when you look at St. Andrews and you check off the list on everything, and we were competitive in academics as well. St. Andrews was a young school, but we were right there performing with Convent and Grammar School and Wesley High School. We were right there on par performing in terms of academics with those other schools. And they were much older schools than us, than St. Andrews.
Oh, absolutely. And I cannot stress enough the importance of that St. Andrews High School model. And we talked about sports, we talked about vocational training, we talked about academia, we talked about health and nutrition. How many schools in Dominica have a cafeteria and a canteen where Audrey can learn recipes and then go back home and execute those recipes? We didn't have a canteen. We had some ladies selling Bixa and soft drink, during recess time, and we probably had a nutrition program here and there, but it was not as comprehensive. And then when you talk about discipline, Catherine, also, and I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about everything about the reunion, but I think it is so important to cover these topics this evening. When we talk about discipline, we keep hearing about so many more fights going on in schools in Dominica, to the point where a young lady and her mom was just recently arrested and charged for assault because the student decided to douse another student by squirting some liquid in her eye. And pretty much it was a case of assault. So, when we speak about discipline, we speak about framing the whole person. I have to say we have to be very impressed with what St. Andrews did. And I'm just wondering, do you guys know if any of what was the infrastructure at St. Andrews, was that taken over to the Northeast Comprehensive School? Is it pretty much the same model? Do you have any ideas on that?
I know currently there is a sewing room. I think there's also a kitchen. So I think they're doing food and nutrition in there, and they have sewing, and they do have. They do woodwork. When I visited there was a guy doing a lot of equipment though, but a lot of them were not in working condition. And they also had something for mechanical thing, because the model of the new school, it was supposed to replicate a lot of the stuff from St. Andrews, but a lot of that was cut back for whatever reason. I do not know. Yeah.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing. So we have to go over and take the phone calls, invite our audience to call in. And then once we come back, guys, we're going to be talking all about the reunion, everything you want folks to know about this important reunion that you have coming up this year, 2025. But first, let's invite our callers to join in on the conversation. Amma and everybody else, I'm seeing the comments on Facebook. Please keep them coming. I'll read them in just a minute. Lambi, over to you.
Roots Connection and Q, taking your calls. The numbers to access here are as follow: 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257, and 305-432-9624. Let me run those one more time. 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. These are all local numbers, and the overseas or international contact number is 305-432-9624. Back to you, Simone.
Yes, thank you. So, guys, thank you for being on the Facebook Live. I'm seeing your comments. Connolly is saying good vibes coming from New York. Annette is watching from Dominica, Everton, Robin. Hey, guys, sounding good. Eliza Lewis, good night to everyone. Valerie Joseph, good night, beautiful people. Connolly said St. Andrews was not just educationally uplifting, but also community uplifting, including neighboring villages. Valerie Joseph, you think Ada was easy? I think she's referring to something you guys mentioned before. Patsy Peters, good evening, everyone, watching from Tampa, Florida. Izuku Katiman, MSS and STAH merged into NECS. So I'm assuming he's saying that two schools merged to create the Northeast Comprehensive School. Teresa, good night all. The Appreciator, big up St. Andrews alum, including Joanna, John in Canada. And then Appreciator goes on to say, people like her are the wonderful people shaped by St. Andrews. Happy reunion, looking forward. And let's see, Halima Amma says, most importantly, we had pure history classes from first to fifth form, mandatory, and social studies. We had over 30 acres of land, which we farmed. Most classes were able to sell produce. Imagine that. Wow, so impressive. Douglas Ann, excellent program. Thank you, Douglas Amma. We knew who we were proud, and we represented our school as best as we could. And then she continues, we had work teams from America who came in and showed us how to even build our very own desks. We had the best science labs. Wow, so impressive. Bernie Chris, St. Andrews had a fully functional canteen, vocational section, welding, mechanical engineering, animal husbandry, a sewing department, and a fully functional dentist office. We had an entire farm with different animals at St. Andrews was the best. Our lab was top notch. And then Junie Hamlet, we had everything. Guys, I am so impressed. What are your thoughts on the comments that are coming in?
Well, I think that those who are commenting, they are emphasizing some of the things that we spoke about. So we shared some of those experience, and it makes me feel that I'm not alone in really, truly believing that we had something of value. There was something of value, and that it really impacted those of us who attended the school, and that we have carried that on throughout our lives. Yes, other schools, they have many successful people, but we can truly say that we have very, very a lot of successful people. I know Audrey mentioned that the current president of Dominica is a past St. Andrews High School student. The Kalinago chief, the first female Kalinago chief, was also indeed a past student of St. Andrews High School. And we have heard this woman speak. And we know she has some power. She has some fire within her. And there are many others. We have a slate of doctors and nurses and business people and people who are in the technical field. Wrigley spoke about a past student of his who, he has his day job, and then in the evening he does his own personal work on cars. I have a student, a past student of mine, who does something similar as well. So it was a holistic approach, and I think that for the most part, um, everyone who walked through the doors of St. Andrew's High School, they took something with them to
Mhm.
make their life better, or to make an impact in life, or in the work that they do, to make it be meaningful and impactful.
Yeah, and Audrey, I want to come to you, and then Will, if I want to start us, since you're the chairman of the committee, I want you to tell us why the reunion and take it from there. So, Audrey, you're about to say something?
Um, we one thing I when I look back on what I learned of being at St. Andrews, I realize just by just this whole slay of different areas and department, different career paths, everything that we learned in St. Andrews, it kind of prepare, I know, for myself and several of the alumni for those that migrated.
Mhm.
It made us so strong that we learned so much in St. Andrews that when we migrated, a lot of us faced several challenges. But we were able to stay strong because I remember leaving Dominica. I left Dominica in 1991. And I worked in so many different fields. I mean, I work in restaurant, day, babysit. But it was to me from at St. Andrews, I learned to be humble and
Mhm.
appreciate what I had. And I remember one time walking down Wesley, and we was talking loud and going on, school children walking down the street. And then one of the ladies in Wesley, and I don't know her really, she said, "Wait, Eugene Pickney? Come here." I was like, "Okay." And she said, "Let me tell you something. If I ever hear you walking down that street again and talking so loud, I will tell Jean about you." Man, from then on, I walking down West Street my Wesley, my mouth shut. So just imagine the discipline you
Yep.
get from a different village. I didn't know she know my mother so well. She disciplined me right there and there. And I walk next time I'm walking Wesley, I'm quiet.
Mhm.
So you learn all of those things and you go out into the world. It humbled you, but that humble took you so far. And it gives you that strength that you need to conquer anything that you experience in the world. And I think St. Andrews is what did that for me.
Mhm.
Just looking at
Excellent,
everything I
excellent.
learned.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the reunion now, but for those who joined us late, we are here with the St. Andrews High School, the reunion team, and they have a reunion coming up in, let's see, July 2025, so in the summer of this year, and we're talking about their grand reunion, their banquet, their award ceremony, as we're exploring opportunities to celebrate and to invest in Dominica. So, where did the idea of the reunion come from? Why a reunion? Why now?
Well, I talk about the reunion, I'll just make a statement very briefly.
Mhm.
I wanted and we had the vocational section in St. Andrews and the academic section. And there's one thing I just want to highlight that both the students in the vocational section and the academic section, they had the same uniform,
Mhm.
no differentiation between. And there was a reason for that, obviously, that they did not want them to feel any less than the people in the academic. Anyway,
Excellent. Excellent.
reunion. Reunion, I know we are social beings. That's why I tell people when they send you to jail, the worst thing is to get in isolation. They isolate you from everybody else.
Mhm.
So we are social beings. We like coming together is one of the best things that anybody can do. It's even quoted in the Bible. Nothing better than when we come together in unity. So that's one of the main things. Just coming together, seeing people you haven't seen for a long time, hanging out, doing fun stuff, doing serious stuff, giving back to the community. There's nothing better than that. So the idea of the reunion did not originate from me because it has been a talk that has been going on for a while. A lot of people say, let us have a reunion. In fact, I believe there may have been some class reunions. And I think there was one last year, and there could have been some before. But this one is a grand reunion where we try to link everybody that went to the school from 1979 all the way to 2006. Now, you see, that's a big age gap, right? So we have people that are in their 60s, the people that are in their 30s, and we have to find some common grounds to bring them together. But I think with all that in place, we can still come together and have a lot of fun. We are all adults now, and we still experience St. Andrews maybe in some slightly different ways, but I'm sure most of the experience are quite similar. So we have something in common. St. Andrews, we have something to celebrate. It was a serious foundation for us, and a lot of us believe that St. Andrews really changed the whole trajectory of our lives in a very positive way. And so that connection to St. Andrews is what we wanted to come back together, because we are all dispersed all over the place. As I said, I haven't seen 99% of my classmates since I left St. Andrews. Not even since I left Dominica, since I left St. Andrews. Has been over 30 years. I graduated in 89. So
let's start with the dates. When is the reunion? And everyone can feel free to chime in as we talk about what can we expect, what is going on during the reunion, how long is the reunion. So let's just kind of jump in, everyone, and talk about what can we expect. The dates, I see the dates, the 6th of July to the 12th of July 2025. So let's begin with the 6th. What's going on the 6th of July?
All right, Catherine will take care of that.
Yes. So first, before I say what's going on the 6th, I want to say that with the whole, initiation about the reunion, when we decided, okay, we are going to do this, we formed a committee, and then the committee was charged with coming up with a logo and a tagline. So the logo, we felt that we wanted to keep the integrity of the original logo of the school. So we kept that, and we just sort of modified it a little bit to include bits of the world, because St. Andrews students, whether they graduated from St. Andrews or not, are all over the globe. And we also wanted to have and we also kept the school's motto, which is all striving, all achieving. I don't think any St. Andrews student has forgotten that motto. Even when I even used that as an example of a speech I had given some time ago at another organization. And we wanted to add a tagline that sort of connected our experience and what we have gone through life and what St. Andrews High School meant to us. And so that tagline is our foundation, our legacy, because we feel that though the school has closed, and the sentimental value that it holds for us, we feel that with this movement of the Grand Reunion, this is a platform for potential things to happen in the future. And so, of course, as you said, our dates for the reunion are running from July 6th to the 12th. And on the 6th, we hope to have our opening ceremony, which will be a church service at the Methodist Church, because we want to always recognize that it was the Methodist Church who played a great part in starting and developing the school. It was a Methodist school, and so oops. And so our we will have our opening ceremony church service. It's going to be a wonderful church service in collaboration with the Methodist Church, and that will be held at the Marigot Methodist Church
What
at
time?
10:30 a.m. And after the church service in the evening time, we will have our meet and greets, and we have something great in store. We decided to have a meet and greet because, as Wrigley said earlier on, we haven't seen some or most of our classmates in some 20, 30 years, and we felt that having a meet and greet for us to just let loose and reacquaint um, ourselves with each other, and to really recreate that network amongst ourselves. And so that will be held in Kalibishi. It will be in the evening, starting around 6 p.m. And we have a great program set out. We have our meet and greet committee who have put together a fabulous program for us. And just last night, they were on a live discussing what they have in store. So we will have some domino, because we are Caribbean people. We love our dominoes. So there will be some dominoes. There will be some, of course, we're going to have an opening prayer, but it's not going to be like a prayer. We're going to have somebody come and perform. I believe it's either a song or a dance. So we are looking forward to that. And then we will also have an MC who will be running through the program for us. And we are going to be charged with 2 truths and 1 lie about St. Andrews. So I think we might have about 3 or 5 rounds with that. So that's going to be very interesting. And we will have lots of food and drinks on sale at that event. And then we will also have some performances by past students who are now artists. So we have um, famous calypsonians like Lord Caressa. He is a past student, and I have to say, even whilst attending high school, St. Andrews, Lord Caressa was a calypsonian from back then. Whenever we had our school concerts and whatever, he would be one of those. Even sometimes on break time or some lax time at school, Greg would be there singing Sparrow. So you can say that he started even from back then singing calypso. We have Webster Marie, who is one of the main persons on the meet and greet. He goes by the calypso name Webb, right? He's also a past student of St. Andrews High School. And Soul Puss was also mentioned. He's also a past student of St. Andrews High School. So you see, we have the caliber of people we have coming out of St. Andrews High School.
Yes, every career path.
Okay. And I understand too that our MC most likely would be Alex Bruno.
Oh.
So Alex Bruno, again, he's a calypsonian, he's an academia, he's a political activist, so Alex has been making some moves, so he too should be taking part in that. And we are going to have an ex-tempo session where I think one of the calypsonians may start without music, so they're going to start the music, and then it's going to go around and see how how well we can do an extempo impromptu. So it's going to be a very exciting start off to the reunion, because we want the reunion to be fun, but we also want it to be meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on the 7th, Audrey?
I'm not going to. I want to give a little highlight from the
Yes.
6th.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be an all. Catherine might have forgotten. It's going to be an all white event. I think that was something that was mentioned last night. So it's going to be an all white event, and I think it's the perfect time for that because it's summertime anyway, and it's really hot. So having all white, that's something he mentioned. The location is in the middle, really part of the central area of Kalibishi. So the expectation is it's going to be hustle and bustling among the street, but we have several restaurants and we have a lot of other things in that same area. And based on what Webb was saying last night, the things, whatever they have a lot of, as Catherine mentioned, have so many things planned. I don't think there is even space to get bored because of the agenda that he has planned for it. So definitely I expect, based on just listening to him, I personally was getting really excited that I trying to start looking for outfits already for the all white event. But the main thing is I really don't think someone want to miss that, because it's just the opportunity for you to that first time. I know we have the church service, but that's going to be the time that we're going to reconnect again to all our past alumni that we speak to on Facebook, but haven't seen them face to face in years. So I will say that when listening to him, I say this is something no one wants to miss. Is coming to that meet and greet to experience that ambience, that love that we shared back in the days, and bring it right back there. That's the beginning of it all.
Yeah, and before you actually continue, I just want to encourage everyone who knows somebody from St. Andrews High School to go ahead and share this program, because I'm sure you guys are looking for even more people to attend. So I know a number of people on the Facebook and the YouTube Live, they're from St. Andrews High School. So guys, please don't forget to share this program with everyone you know is from your school, so they can be a part of the program as well. So yes, continue, Audrey.
I think we have Catherine speaking on day 7, or Wrigley. What's going to happen on for
Who wants to take the 7th?
Wrigley.
The 7th is the community outreach. And as we said, part of the goal of the reunion is to give back and to touch all the communities that serve St. Andrews. So we want to do something in all the from the Kalinago territory all the way down to Kalibishi, and in that way we identified some areas. We still may be able to take on some more. Like for instance, in Marigot, we are going to collaborate with someone in a feeding program. We are in talk with the Kalinago chief. We identified a few things already that we can, they know what they need best, so we're trying to work with them. I know one thing is in areas in the sports that we're trying to help in that area. And also we talked about like bus stops, painting, and facelift to the community. So we are still going through identifying different areas, and depending on how much manpower we have and the resources, I'm sure we can broaden our scope on that. But that's the time when we're gonna get in the community and give back, and we're gonna make it fun. It's not. We can have fun doing work. And helping out people from the community.
Let me just mention Everton on the YouTube Live says Kalibishi residents need to make sure tons of mangoes and roast plantain for sale on the roadside. So I know it's going to be a fun day. So kind of let us lump the other days together because I want us to focus on the banquet and the award ceremony in the interest of time. So tell us
Yeah.
what's going on in general. And then Audrey, I want you to tell us about the banquet and the award ceremony because I think that is probably going to be the highlights of the celebration.
Simone,
Yes.
before we get into that, I just want to mention that we have a data collection um, that we have a Google form registration that we would really love people to sign up. So I heard you made the appeal for the St. Andrews people who are listening to share the live. And so for those, we are making an appeal for those who have not yet registered on the form that they can find it pinned to the school's Facebook page. That is St. Andrews High School Dominica Facebook page. And also they can visit our website at sapsainc.org.
I'm going to actually spell it out and put it in the comment section. So I see it here as sapsainc.org.
Yes.
So for everyone listening on the radio, the website again for the reunion, for all the information we are talking about this evening is www.s as in Sam, A as in Apple, P as in pen, S as in Sam, A as in Apple, I as in India, N as in Nancy, C as in Charlie.org. So www.sainc.org. So for all the information that we are discussing this evening about the reunion, that is where you will be able to find that information. So yes, guys, back to you. Anything you want to chime in before we talk about the banquet, the award ceremony?
I can go ahead and talk briefly on the school outreach, and Catherine will talk about the health. So, and also I'll talk about the sports day one time, although they're going to be a gap in there. But in the school outreach, basically, we're going to try to get an interactive program and meeting some, especially the seniors from the high school, and try to expose them and have them interact with professionals from various professions that's in their field, So I know in when I was going to high school, there was my scope of what I could do was very, very narrow, very limited. So, but after getting out here, especially living in the US, we realize there are a lot more areas that we can go into, and a lot of the students have gone into some of these areas, and even the traditional areas, and so we want students to be able to interact with them. For instance, in my case, I wanted to be an engineer. I never really talked to an engineer from Dominica, except when I went to Sixth College, I met somebody who was not practicing in the field. So it's very good for us to have that kind of interaction, and hopefully the student can be motivated to go on and do something in that area. Or they might say, you know what, I don't like that field, that's not what I want to do. And then one of the big highlights is the sports day. The sports day will happen on the 9th, as mentioned before. Sports day was one of the major events in St. Andrews from the start of the school all the way back to because we had 4 houses. We have the Charles, Stevens, Pascals, and Gums. Gums was the best house. So Gums was green, and we used to beat everybody. I'm just getting some of the other houses a little. So that's not true. But so we are very competitive in the houses, and it was not just a school event, as I think Conley mentioned. It was a community thing. So people from the various communities would come down and be not just onlookers. Some people would be selling stuff. It was a big day for the Northeast, not just St. Andrews High School. So we have that is going to be a big fun day. We know we are much older now and we cannot run 400 and 200 meters and so on. So we're gonna restrict it to very short races and a few other events like cricket and rounders and even domino on the sides. And but we also going to have some fun game like the lime and spoon, the tug of war, the needle and thread, the sack race, the bond eating, and so on. And so and then in the beginning, coming on the field, we have the match of the houses, the parade of the houses coming with the different colors. So we want people to round up the house members, come on the field with your colors, with your flag, and you can be creative. Like some of the people in the match pass are being creative. You can be creative how you make your entrance on the in the sports day. And also we have music. We have a DJ. We also have Lapu Cabrit band,
Wow.
and we'll also have food, obviously, drinks and food on the side. So it's gonna be a packed day. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna try to make it a very memorable time. So you don't want to miss. We have hats, we have t-shirts, we have on sale so people can come in all their colors. We have the yellow for the Charles, we have the green for the gums,
Hey,
we
Charlton.
have the red for the Pascalites, which you're gonna beat on
Oh,
Sports Day.
this
This
is
Pascal,
serious.
hey, I tell you, these Pascalites are coming out. I made a statement that we're gonna whoop some Pascalites, and man, I think they are buying up this T-shirt, and we have the Stevenites, and they're gonna be competition, but it's gonna be all fun.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's it for Sports
but
Day.
guys, I mean, all of this is so fantastic, and I love the energy. But I want to come. So what if you're not a St. Andrews High School graduate, but you're
Simone would love to have
interested?
you.
Okay, great.
You're
Because
welcome.
yes, because I think that especially if you're in the community and you want to be a part of everything that is going on, I think it should be open to anyone who wants to be a part of it.
Oh, we are quite open. Everybody can come along
Good.
and enjoy the fun.
Excellent. And I think you were talking about something around nutrition that Catherine was going to talk about.
Yes.
Health
So
and wellness.
we
Health and wellness.
Yes, all part of giving back to the community. So, as we mentioned earlier, we have many doctors and nurses, and we wanted an activity, not just the community service outreach, but we wanted another activity that we could really create that impact on the community. And so, we have two health and wellness fairs. One will be in the Wesley Marigot Health District at the Imelda James Health Center, and
Mhm.
the other one would be in the Kalinago territory at the Sally Bear Health Center. And so it will be a comprehensive health fair in that we're going to have a number of checks and screenings, such as the blood pressure check, the blood sugar check. We're going to do the heart check. So they're going to have the ECG check. We are going to have the breast examinations and the pap smear test being done. We're going to have the prostate screening as well. There is going to be consultation. So we're not just screening, but if the healthcare professionals pick up that there is anything that is not looking good, there will be consultation as to what is, I guess, the next step. We're going to also have our weight and height check to check for our body mass index, our BMIs, and that will give an indication for obesity or borderline obesity. And so these, if there is anything found out that you're obese, there will be consultation on that as well. There will be um, there will be health education. So they're going to have some videos um, showing about some of these same checks, or the non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, I guess what causes those things, the effects, how you can help to remedy the situation, obesity as well. And also some of the videos would be about STDs and STIs, just to, I guess, maybe more appeal to some of the younger people. Well, everybody, but to the younger people, because all of us need to have some sex education. And they will have a myriad of healthcare professionals. They're going to have doctors. I'm not sure of all of the doctors, but I know for sure they mentioned that there will be a cardiologist who is also a past student of the St. Andrews High School. There are going to be many nurses. Some of them specialize in certain areas like wound care and nutrition consultation. So all of that is going to be provided at both locations. And
Mhm.
I know they were making an appeal. Oh, they are also in collaboration with the St. Andrews Hospital
I
Foundation.
was about to ask you about that. What is that?
Yes. So they are a group, an association with medical people, and they have been, from what I understand, they have been playing a role in terms of different health fairs in the community. So they will actually be working with, they have done the health and wellness fairs for Mayfest in the past. They will be doing one again in May, and then they will be collaborating with us in July. They actually, I think, we're planning to do one a bit later, like around September. But because they heard about the the St. Andrews Grand Reunion, they actually called us up and said, "Hey, we are willing to work with you guys. We don't want to be doing, we don't want to be fragmented in our efforts." And so now they are collaborating with us to give us, I guess, more strength, more skills available to the cause. And so in spite of that, though, we are still looking for assistance in areas of contribution to certain items. We need the blood pressure machine. We need the A1C testing device. We need the speculum and the slides for the pap smear. And we also will be in need of ECG paper. So we are asking for people to, if they can contribute monetarily or they can contribute in kind, and we will be so grateful because we want to create that impact. We want to ensure that our community members receive the the quality healthcare service which we have listed out here. And
Mhm.
so this will be provided in both the Wesley and Marigot district and the Sally Bear district. So the people of the Kalinago, they don't have to worry about coming into the Northeast. That will be provided for them in their territory. And the other villages, Marigot, Wesley, Woodford Hill, Calibishi, they will come to the Imelda James Healthcare Center in Wesley. And so we are looking for everyone in the community to come out and get their checks. We are asking the men usually shy away from these events, but we are asking the men to come out because we need the men. We don't want the men to get sick. They are the providers, they are our protectors. So we need them in the community. We need them in the community to provide and protect us. And we also want to encourage the wives and the aunties, the sisters, to encourage the men in their lives to come out. So
Mhm.
it's a whole community, and that will be held, sorry, on Tuesday the 8th. So that
Mhm.
will be the third day. That will be held. Um, it will be from morning, I guess, till the afternoon.
Yeah, and just a reminder, guys, all the information is provided on the website. So again, www.sapsainc.org. But I want to make sure we talk about the banquet and the award ceremony. Thank you so much, Catherine, and Will, we're very well done. Audrey, you are the lead for the banquet and the award ceremony. Tell us about, because I'm assuming that is the grand climax of the week of the grand reunion.
Okay, everyone, on July 10th, and that's the Thursday, all roads going to be leading to the oasis of luxury. High-ended, state-of-the-art, very exceptional, prestigious,
Prestigious.
prestigious,
It's late. It's late.
prestigious. Is the at the Intercontinental Dominica Cabrit's Resort and Spa. All roads lead to this. This is a red carpet event. You have to, if you miss it, you're not going to be counted. You have to be counted to this. Okay, so as the lead for this event, I'm going to go down what we have prepared for you. Okay, first of all, we have chosen the most exceptional hotel ever in Dominica. Okay, and what we are preparing for you is first start off when you walk in. It's a black tie event, so we give you all luxury. Okay, we ask for the dress code to be black tie, the ladies in their most beautiful gown. Doesn't have to be long. Some of us like shorts, but we still want classy to match. The men, please, to attend. It's a black tie event, so no jeans are accepted. I may be at the door to tell you I'm sorry. You will have to go ahead and change your attire. Okay, so let's represent St. Andrews. Um, the event starts at 5 p.m. with a social event. So the social event, we're going to have that cocktail hour. So when you walk in, there will be photographers, there will be the media there. So your pictures will be taken. We have professional photo taker. We have the media here. You will be asked questions. You will be welcome. You may be ushered in. Okay, that will be on the red carpet when you walk in. You will enter for the cocktail. The cocktail starts at 5. When you enter, we will have our waiters, waitresses with drinks, excellent finger foods, and it's just a time to mingle. Okay, so I would extend it. So if you're going to be attending, please come in time so you could experience the entire event, because we have something set for you for that entire evening. From the cocktail hour from 5 p.m., we're going to, it's a 2 hours. However, because of time, we want to make sure by 6:30 we're going to have you coming into the room. That's where we're going to have the dinner and the award setup. So for the dinner and award, we have a long program set up. Our MCs will be there. We do have a 4-course meal set up. So definitely we took time, and it took back and forth with the hotel to get the type of food that our St. Andrews High School students deserve. Okay, so when I say classy, I don't just mean classy by your dress code. I want the classy food. I want the look. I want the environment, the ambience. Everything has to showcase what we deserve after all that hard work at St. Andrews High School. So with the dinner, we're going to have our prayers, because nothing is good without God in the air. We're going to have our prayers. We're going to have entertainment. We have several entertainers set up. We're also going to try We go with time. So we also will have dinner serving at the same time. During the time, we may have some entertainers to keep you occupied so you don't get bored. And believe me, it's Audrey George planning. You're not going to get bored. Because try to have that schedule in time. Our award ceremony, we have taken few months, a long time, trying to handpick what the categories are. That's one of the most important thing, because the thing with St. Andrews High School, we have several of our faculty staff that have that spent a lot of years. The tenureship is long. And it was so difficult to choose and pick and choose who is not. But however, they also had certain personality, the style, the caliber. They had certain things that they extended beyond tenureship. So we had to look at that, and we had to do some investigation. We had to do some interviews to come to align ourselves in what categories does that faculty staff fall into. We asked questions so we could choose. And a lot of times those same names continue popping up and popping up and popping up. And then that's when we had to make a decision and say, okay, that's somebody that we had to do a little more research on. And I know at the end of it all, when you at attendance, I'm sure, I'm really sure that everyone will be proud and will be happy to those that are going to be awarded on that night for the great service that they have given to St. Andrews High School. The awards, we expect for the banquet to end somewhere around 10, because I do encourage everyone to bring your dancing shoes on also, because after the banquet and award, we are going straight into the dance room, and we are not going to keep it only to the music that we know now. We're going to bring out the 80s, because some of us are in the 80s and some of us were in the 90s and going forward. So we want to bring a different genre, a different style. Everyone can enjoy it somehow. So that's the plan. So we can have a DJ. We have DJs who are past students that's going to be there with us, and that's great. We have a couple of DJs are past students, so we can get that gist of every different caliber, different time of St. Andrews. Tickets. So did I sell this banquet enough?
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready to come with my Sulia Talaho.
Okay, get your Sulia Talaho. Let's go, because let me tell you, you do not want to miss that banquet, because we have someone on ground. I have to mention her name, Dennis James. Dennis James is working tremendously. She's working so hard to ensure that we have the best of the best. And we will get to the hotel thing later. Because if you drink too much, we will get to that later. Tickets are available for sale. And currently, our tickets are going, it's actually $335 EC, it's at $125 US. Think of 4-course meal.
Right.
Think of you being on that red carpet. Think of you being, celebrity. Think of you doing this the first time, and I can bet you the other schools are going to follow, but we are bringing it. Okay, so think of all what you're going to experience. Money shouldn't be a factor, because you are going to have an experience of your lifetime that you will never forget, once in a lifetime. Would we have another banquet and award? Maybe. But this one is going to be the best of the best. So it's going to be $330. The tickets are on sale right now. Shop DM. Let me see if I have it right. ShopDMPay.com.
Say that again. Because I'm going to type it in. Shop
DM Pay.
PAY?
PAY, yes. If you go online, you could buy a ticket. I'm currently in conversation with the person that handles that website to see if we can set up installment payment for the tickets. He haven't gotten back to us yet. Right. So for some people that say, okay, I want to pay $200 and I'll pay the rest later at a certain time. I'm trying to see if we can have that set up. for some people that doesn't have everything at one time. But for now, if you go online, you can purchase your ticket here. I would encourage everyone, if not if, when you're going to purchase your ticket, try to do it in advance. Don't wait in July to buy a ticket, because we have to have that head count before by May, the end of this month, end of May. So we have to have that head count. Try to go online, get your tickets early, because we have to get that information over to the caterers. As you say, if you don't have things in time, you don't get the best of the best. So we need
Yeah, and let me just ask quickly before I forget, because is that the only part of the grand reunion that a payment is required? Because I noticed Wilworth was showing some T-shirts and caps. So is there also a fee for the caps and the T-shirts? Anything else? Folks may have to come out of pocket for.
Yes, so that's the only event that requires that has a price. However, when you get on that same website, we have memorabilia, which will be the T-shirts are on sale on that same website.
Okay.
The caps are on sale also. You could purchase it. Most people prefer to collect it when they get to Dominica, the easiest way. However, if you want it to be shipped to you, we can also have that set up for you to get shipped to you. So those are on the website. When you go to that website, also you will also see tokens. Those are sponsorship and donations for the events. Not specifically for the banquet, it's for the reunion altogether. So persons that are not attending and still want to assist and help, because we have some expenses, we encourage you, if you're not attending, but you see the good that we are doing and you want to support us in any way, you could purchase a token. We have for $10, $25, $50, you could purchase it. Those funds will be donations to help us with all the different events we have planned. We also have raffle tickets on sale online, and we have physical tickets. So for the banquet, we have physical tickets. So those you will have to contact Denise James, and she will be able to get that to you, so you can get physical tickets. So those that's not inclined to go online and buy a ticket, they can contact Denise James. We also make an arrangement for those that want to pay an installment also. So that will accommodate each and every one.
And the tickets in Dominica, you said Denise James. Is there a phone
Denise
number
James.
for her? Is there a number?
Yeah, it's 767.
1 second.
613 4612.
1 second.
Water, Simon?
Get some water.
Get some water. In the meantime, while Simone is not here, I know people. She said to continue the conversation.
Yes, we have some other people that have raffle tickets as well.
Yeah, we have. Once you contact Denise James, she will be able to let you know. I know we have Webster Mary selling for Calibishi. We don't have someone yet for Woodford Hill, but most times Woodford Hill may purchase from Calibishi or Wesley. We have Smith Telemark, which is selling tickets for the raffle in Wesley. We have what's his name, Tony Charles for Marigold. And then for the Kalinago, we have my girl, Audrey Larand. She's selling for the Kalinago area. So if you do need raffle tickets for those areas, you can contact the persons. However, if you need anything in relation to the tickets for the banquet, for raffle, T-shirts, caps, you can also contact Dennis James and Grong. And also you see our website on here, which we already shared on the live. You can also go online and contact us there also at SAP. What's the name, Brigitte?
SAPSA Inc. Yeah, so everything we mentioned there, all those links can be from, so that shop DM, you can get the link for the SAPSA Inc. that was mentioned earlier on. Exactly. So once you get on there, go to events and you go to banquet, once you click on the purchase banquet ticket, it will take you to that shop DM and you'll see everything else.
Everything will be there.
Yes,
great.
right.
And then for transportation, one of the questions we had we look all around, and we came up. We know some persons don't have a rental, don't have a vehicle. We have contacted our bus drivers from the Kalinago all the way down to Kalibishi to transport folks over to the banquet. So that should not be an issue. If you're concerned about transportation, we have that already set up for you. So we should have bus drivers getting you 2 cab rates to the hotel and waiting for you until the end of that event to take you back home. So that has already been set up for you. The other thing I wanted to mention also is for those of us that may drink a little too much and doesn't want to drive home and want to just spend the night at this luxurious hotel, we spoke about that. We spoke to the hotel about it, and we can get group rates. However, they do need at least 10 or more people registering in order for us to get a better rate and a group rate to stay at the hotel that night. So if you are interested in doing that, please reach out to us. We have a website. You could also go to our website, which we already sent over on the live. So you could go on there to get information or to send an email. It will come over to the grand reunion email. And then if we can get 10 or more people, definitely we can negotiate to get a group rate that's going to be cost effective for your pocket. For those of you that want to spend a night at the hotel after that grand event, that grand banquet and award that we're planning. Simon, you good?
Oh my God, guys, I so apologize. I don't know what happened. I suddenly started having a coughing fit. I've had the cold for a couple of days, and I'm not sure what happened. But thank you so much for continuing the conversation. So just remind everyone about the website and the contact phone number before we wind down.
Okay, so the website we have is shopdmpay.com. That's the website. You can go ahead and purchase your banquet tickets. On top of that, you could purchase your T-shirts. You could purchase your
caps, your mugs.
You could purchase your raffle tickets, and you could also give a slight donation to help the cause. So all of that you can get that on there. And we will announce if we can do installment payments for the banquet. That hasn't been finalized yet. So we'll let you know if that's something that can happen. Okay.
Yeah, and the phone number for Denise James again,
767-613-4612.
4612. So again, 767-613-4612. For anyone who's not, not everybody's computer savvy. So for anyone who's not computer savvy, but they still want to get tickets. So again, Dennis James, 767-613-4612. So guys, I want to thank you for being here, for telling us all about the grand reunion, for telling us all about the wonderful experience at St. Andrews High School. And I truly wish that the powers that be will look at that model that we talked about in terms of what was available at St. Andrews High School. So if anyone wants to share this program with them, or maybe you missed the first portion of the program and you want to catch the replay, remember Q95 FM radio, as well as Push Past 10, Facebook and YouTube, so you can catch the entire program. And I hope it excited people. I want to go to the reunion now, so I hope it excited people and that you will get a lot of responses. What has been the response so far? People coming? Are people excited? What has been the response so far?
As Catherine mentioned, we have a data collection team, and we have gotten quite a bit of over 400 responses, and for the majority by far of that said that they will be coming to the reunion. So I also want to mention that we are still open to sponsorship. I know, and I want to say thanks to Fresh Market. They pledged that they want to be a major sponsor for health fair. And we also have other areas that, as I say, a reunion takes a lot. It's a lot, even for the events that are considered free, they're not free of cost. So if anyone listening, any business person listening, and they want to sponsor us, we will be very happy. And again, thanks also to to the St. Andrew's Hospital Foundation. And also Mr. Elvis Edwards also pledged to help us in our one event in our part of our sporting expense. I want to, yeah. So, but just want to say, anybody else, we will welcome that.
Yeah, so
Thank
guys,
you.
this is what it's all about, and I've just been making this observation that there's just this sense of stewardship in Dominica, where we're finding groups and organizations who are just taking control of certain sectors of Dominica. And I think that is what we need at this point in history, because we're seeing a lot of instability in the world. We're seeing a world where now, the US president is bent on this US first policy to the isolation of other smaller regions like our region. So this is the time for us to invest as organizations, as groups into Dominica, because we've always had the sense of giving back to Dominica, right? So for generations, people have found ways to give back to Dominica. But now I'm seeing this more formalized process where we are creating these organizations more and more so to be able to invest in Dominica. So, for example, we just had the St. Mary's Academy Foundation that was recently formed. I also recently got involved in a convent high school alumni association. We see partnerships such as Bannis Farms with Petrocarbon George recently. And that is what we're going to need. We're going to need that collective synergy to create those organizations, to invest in Dominica and to give back to Dominica in important ways. So now we're seeing education, we're seeing sports, we're seeing agriculture, we're seeing the cultural industries. So this is a very exciting time. And I know the world is very dark right now. So I think this gives us a sense of hope. This gives us a sense of hope of what is possible when we come together to collectively. So again, I do want to apologize. I kind of got sick towards the end of the program and had to take a couple of minutes to get myself together. But it was wonderful to have you guys here. Will, Robin, Audrey George, Catherine Irish. Lambi, thank you as always for being on the console. Q95 family, Mr. G showing. Thank you. The audience, thank you for being here, whether you tuned in on the radio or whether you joined us on Facebook and YouTube Live. And again, if you too are a change maker, if you're a part of something that is going to help to move Dominica forward, the Caribbean region forward, I want to hear from you. So you can always reach me at pushpast10@gmail.com. That is pushpast10@gmail.com. And we have several more programs already lined up with change makers who are doing the work, because we have to turn that passion for Dominica into action for Dominica. So I'm always so happy when I meet folks who are doing just that. So Wilworth, Audrey George, Catherine Irish, thank you for being here as we talked about the grand reunion for St. Andrew's High School and everything that will come from it, because we'll see opportunities for mentorship come out of this. We will see opportunities for networking come out of this. And we hope that we will, the next time we hear from you, you will be telling us about what came out of the reunion. So you guys, you know how to get in touch with me. I wish you guys best of luck with the reunion. Keep in touch. If you have any promotional materials that you would like to share, I will be more than happy to do so for you. So just your final words, 1 minute each as we wind down.
Okay. Thank you so much, Simone, for giving us your platform for tonight. We appreciate it. And I want to say to each and everyone, encourage everyone to please go ahead and book your tickets, purchase your tickets, be there. You will lose it by not being there. To win, you have to be at this grand reunion. We have a lot planned for you. I look forward to meeting and embracing all my past students that I went to school with, and just taking some time to smile about the bad things we did and the good things we did, and say, look at us right now. So I just take some time out. You may say you have excuses, but reach out to us. We may try to just fix some of the issues you might be having. We may just answer some of the questions you have to make it better for you. And anything that comes up, if you have a suggestion to make something better, We welcome that. If you have ideas, we welcome that. Thank you, Simone. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate it.
Yes. So thank you, Simone, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you to our listening audience. Thank you to all the team members on the various committee who have been, putting their best foot forward to get these activities off the ground and to make them as grand as we are talking about. And thanks to our supporters so far, persons who have given donations, people who are coming on board for sponsorship, and those who are already on board. We want to thank you. And I just want to give a shout out before we close off to Lambert Charles. I don't know if you remember me, Lambert. Of course. And to Shoin Norris in the background.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Wilbur.
Again, Simone, Dr. Simone, Matthew, thank you for the opportunity here. Thanks to Lambi and Q95 for giving us the opportunity to come and share with your audience. We really appreciate that. We are 87 days, 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 15 seconds away from the reunion. And we are counting down, and don't procrastinate. Get your stuff real early. Remember, as Audrey said, you don't have until July to get your tickets. Don't wait if you wait until that time, you can't get a ticket because we have to plan in advance. And also, we are looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone for Sports Day, for all the different events that we have. When we come together, we're going to have a good time, and you don't want to miss out on that. Those are the times you remember. Those are the events that mark the certain time in your life that you're going to say, oh, it was before the reunion or after the reunion. That is the kind of thing you're going to remember. So don't miss out. If you miss it out, you're gonna regret.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you again, and hope to see everyone. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So again, you've been watching and listening to Roots Connections on Q, and I'm your host, Simone Matthew, and we will see you again, I believe, around April 26th. So we're looking forward to you as we continue this journey of harnessing the power of technology, international radio, social media, and podcasts to leverage the skills and expertise of our people around the world for the benefit of our beautiful country, Dominica, and the Caribbean region by extension. So with that, have yourself a wonderful evening, a great rest of the week, and we will see you again the next time on another episode of Roots Connections on Q. Good evening, good night, have a restful evening, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember the family were all sitting around watching television. And I just remember the family were all sitting around watching television. And they had ballet on, and I'd never seen ballet on television. And it was just mesmerizing to me how it seemed to take me into a different world to see
Roots Connections on Q, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. every other Wednesday on Q95, the big station. Dominicans journey beyond our shores for decades in search of economic opportunities and educational advancement. Many are ready to give back to their cherished nature island. Welcome to Roots Connections on Q. Join Dr. Simone Matthew on Q95 as we tap into the life and times and expertise of our nature island Dominicans, at home and abroad. From our agriculture and industry to sustainable development, resilience and renewable energy, to the music, art, and entertainment industries. Join Dr. Simone Matthew and guests every other Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We examine where they came from, where they have been, where they are now, and how we can move forward together with our brothers and sisters at home and abroad to inspire and elevate our country, our economy, our people, and our youth to achieve excellence and success. Roots Connections on Q, every other Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Only on Q95, the big station.
Jacob is calling his children. Where the price, so we walk. Oh, children, home. Oh, to Zion. Oh, wanna go. Take me home. Oh,
Roots Connections on Q. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. every other Wednesday on Q95, the big station. Dominicans journeyed beyond our shores for decades in search of economic opportunities and educational advancement. Many are ready to give back to their cherished nature island. Welcome to Roots Connections on Q. Join Dr. Simone Matthew on Q95 as we tap into the life and times and